The American streamer in Japan that claimed he was Somalian filmed himself committing crimes with his friend not once but several times on livestream. Eventually, not only was he arrested, but his copycat accomplice was as well. Now, the original streamer has continuously been arrested, released, and arrested again for months now. But curiously, his friend has been released and is not only streaming again, but laughing about the not Somalian guy that still remains behind bars.
Yo, why am I laughing, bro? Holy that's not funny. He's probably gonna be in jail for another two-ish to 6 months in jail. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine what this is going through. He gotta be getting his booty. I'm trying to tell you. Almost. I can't answer if I'm still in Japan or not.
So his not-so-cryptic message claims that he is still in Japan, but his view on nuisance streaming in the country has completely changed.
I will no longer be streaming IRL in Japan. Look, now a lot of you guys can call me a... If you guys knew how hard the police were on my... how many videos they had of me and Johnny, you would know it is not safe to stream in Japan anymore. Bro, I mean, look at all the other IRL streamers. Sus is never going back to Japan. Homeless, I'm pretty sure, is probably never streaming it. Show quit. I don't know where the show went. Swimmer Nick got banned.
Now, isn't that interesting that harsh criminal punishments not only stopped the serial offender from re-offending, but discouraged all other instances of the same crime? It's almost like the justice system works exactly the way it's intended if you let it, because for whatever reason, Western society decided that they no longer had the stomach to watch criminals suffer consequences. As the elephant in the room is, why is this guy out but not the other guy? They documented themselves committing trespass several times together. They got arrested pretty much together. And with Japan's record of having a 99.8% conviction rate, and they were looking at 3 years prison time for their crimes, one of them is out laughing about how ironclad the case is against his accomplice and is still hanging out in the country. While no longer able to make any money streaming, I don't think he's taking a vacation as much as he's about to sing some courtroom karaoke. And sadly, that's what needed to happen, as the first guy had been bothering the Japanese for half a year. Whenever he would get scared, he would pretend to apologize.
Sincerely apologize to the country and the people of Japan. It was wrong, it was disrespectful.
Then go right back to nuisance streams, but now inspiring more streamers, seeking out Japan to panhandle pennies online. So now the Japanese have been cracking down on these types, where the Live Door article loosely translates to railway companies possibly restricting filming, specifically targeting filming for the purpose of commercial activities, targeting not only the nuisance streamers, but those streaming themselves stopping those nuisance streamers. As you can remember the band of Japanese guys that went after the American troublemakers, where the guy in a blonde wig had a very specific tactic to use against him, but later seemed to team up with him to make content together, as he was later claiming he got into a police car without permission, but then was taken away in a police car with permission. Now, I'm no expert on the Japanese legal system, but it appears they're going after everybody breaking the rules, regardless of who they are or where they're from. As there are plenty of people online that want to defend the American streamers, saying it's just because Japan is xenophobic and it's only happening because of their race. Or people even coming after me in my comment section, saying I must have a problem with an entire people just because of my coverage of one criminal. But notice how the Japanese police aren't just kicking down the doors of black English teachers just enjoying their dinner, or I've never done a video on someone quietly minding their own business on a subway. But somehow, people in Western culture have been trained to think bringing up race is like some sort of Harry Potter spell to make people back off of them. But too bad I don't really care what idiots online think of me, and the Japanese haven't been conditioned to compete in the oppression Olympics.
At least they haven't put me in handcuffs yet, like they would in America, bro. Are you guys serious? That's racist. Because my skin color? No. My skin color? My skin color? I'm American. My skin color? My skin color? No. My skin color? No. My skin color? My skin color?
as apparently this guy was getting his bike checked for registration, but then posted the video on TikTok complaining that the Japanese police were being racist, tagging BLM, to which people replied on Twitter, "This is just what happens to everybody's bike in Japan, where in large cities they will just randomly check you for your papers and had done so for decades," with others explaining that this isn't about race, it's about assimilating to Japanese culture. Because when you look at the Japanese YouTuber Takashi in Japan, he interviews foreigners talking about this all of the time.
They tend to be the kind of foreigner that is loud, kind of get looked down on by Japanese people, and that reflects on the rest of us, like all foreigners.
Get used to not being a loud foreigner. Get used to being polite.
As it seems most non-Japanese feel pressured to fit into the more docile society, but they do appreciate what it is compared to the West.
No danger whatsoever. People here in Japan are very nice. It really shocked me with how polite everyone is here versus America.
So no wonder stores in Tokyo can be left entirely unattended under the assumption that you'll pay for your goods and go. Meanwhile in the States, everything must be locked down, as it's apparently a social media trend to just steal detergent for digital likes, which is likely why we're starting to see Japan is for the Japanese protest in the streets. But back to the original subject of streamers getting potential prison time for petty crimes, surely that arrest would never happen in any deep blue American city, but absolutely zero deep blue American cities could see the safety that Japan has. And sadly, we live in a society that thinks you're a bad person if you point out why. But if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on what happens when your race grift finally backfires.